Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me on When I Stop Fighting, the podcast. Right now, we're going to do a few videos in the middle of the season that are compilations, which went over really well at the end of the season last year. And what they are is they're just gems of wisdom that I've pulled out. And some have to do with recovery, some have to do with trauma, some have to do with grief, some have to do with the difficult experiences we all go through in life and how they were dealt with. I think they'll be helpful. They're going to be short, so probably 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the most. And I hope you enjoy.
But it does take discipline. It does take effort. But the beauty of the practice is that, especially for breath work, the more breath aware you are, the more breath aware you will want to be. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in some ways, that just by paying attention to your breath, right now you and I are speaking, if we just shut our eyes and just paid attention to the in and the out, through the nose, left and right, chest, belly, out nostril, just in that act of witnessing the breath rather than making it happen, your breath slows down from 15 to 8. It just slows down just like that.
I think the greatest quote of this thing was the most cliche thing that can be said, and that is, be the change you want to see. Isn't that a Gandhi thing? And right. When you said that's what we're up to here. Just do your own work. That's leadership. I used to think leadership was being a big shot with a title and telling people what to do. No. Now, I think a better form of leadership, I suppose, if you want to use that language, is just do what you love, get healthy, and then if you might look behind you and see people are following you and say, that's an interesting dynamic. and that's how healing works right there. Just do your own work, man, and trust that the rest of it will unfold exactly as it's supposed to.
My morning routine is like, this is my thing. This is what I'm doing. Only reach out to me if it's like an emergency, and I'll talk to you. But I think it's a crucial point. And I believe everybody should start with at least one thing to start with in the morning, and then you can build it up from there. You don't have to go crazy and start with 5. We all want to change ourselves in the world right away, but if you do that, then you just give up. Just like, if I was to start exercising mad crazy, and I'll stop in a day or 3 days, and because it hurts, it sucks, it's new. What am I going to keep doing this for? But yeah, just keep pushing through. Just try one thing. I think a morning routine would be beneficial to whoever's listening that wants to change something.
Bad things will happen in life, no matter your good choices. You can't always control outcomes, but also things will happen to people you love. Will die, or there'll be an accident. There'll be losses. There will be pain. But I had to learn that to trust that that's true, but I will be able to handle it. It doesn't mean I might not have some times of suffering. Of course I will, or some times of struggle or challenge, but I can handle it. And that's what I have to trust. I don't have to trust nothing bad's going to happen. I have to trust that I can handle it when it does. And that took a long time for me to really appreciate and to sort of learn to rely on.
That little voice that you speak of, we call it the roommate. Right. I got that from Michael Singer in The Untethered Soul. If you've read this book, this is a powerhouse of book, also very simple read. And he speaks about, imagine if you were living with a roommate and that roommate wouldn't shut up, like just kept talking and talking, and it wasn't paying rent, right? You would get up and you would do something about him. You'd be like, yo, listen, bro, you got to go, man, like some way or another. But yet we never do nothing about that roommate in our head. We just let it tell us. It's been with us for so long. We think it's just us. It's like that record playing in the background, right? But it's not us.
But there was something different this time. And it was like nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. I knew that no matter what, a drink and a drug was not going to make anything better at this point. Like that, it was the first time I saw it crystal clear. it's not going to make it better. And if it's not going to make it better and I'm too much of a coward to kill myself, I got to do something and I don't know what to do. So I need to go somewhere where someone tells me what to do. Like that was ultimately it. Like I thought I had the world figured out. And in that instant, I realized I don't know shit. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to maintain a job anymore. You know, I'm not showering. I don't have a house. Like, you know, I don't know how to do the normal things. And I checked into Salvation Army ARC.
And the thing that I love the most about it is that we weren't willing to give up, and we weren't willing to take no for an answer. We were going to have a family no matter what that might look like. So I want to give hope to anybody that is experiencing an infertility situation or even a change in your family status, that you can do the thing that you are looking to do. It wasn't in my story to change my mind. That just wasn't part of what was going to be in my heart and in my end result. But I also know that people change their minds and decide not to have family at all. So ultimately, I love that the story ends in a hopeful way, but that there's still more story to be told.
Because I've had so many, as I call them, angels come into my life for various lengths of time. And when they left, it was okay that they left, because I was a far better person because I let them in my life. When I could have said, I don't want you here, leave me alone, I'm going to be a loner, nobody likes me, nobody loves me. And I could have stayed in that drudgery. And I just said, no, there's something better out there. And I've got to find out who I am and how do I fit in this.
When it came to me, they said, do you have anything you want to say? And I got up and I started walking around the table. And, you know, they're all kind of going like this. And I knew that was not acceptable behavior in one of these meetings, but I was like a caged cat. I felt I had all this, you know? So, but one guy came up to me after the meeting and he says, do you think you got any good drinking time left? And I said, no. And I meant it. You know, things were bad. And I don't need to tell stories, but it was bad. You know, when you're thinking about blowing your brains out on your front porch, it's bad. But anyway, you know, that was August 31st, 1993.
It is not what I experienced as a child. It is like something that I have been able to curate, manage, and foster as a healthy person. And so that's even more unimaginable that I'm doing this completely free of drugs and alcohol. Therefore, my son, I'm breaking those chains inside of my family tree. I'm changing this thing. And so huge, man. I mean, it blows me away. I'm trying not to cry. It's like, it's big.
I try to do my best to take 100% responsibility and don't blame anybody for anything other than just me showing up. And so with that, yes, it, as you know, just even saying it, right? You take responsibility, right? So there's some burden on there with that, but at the same time, it allows me to be in the driver's seat of my life versus being a spectator. And for me, it's been a lot more fun.
Athletics was my saving grace. So I look back and I think I always was an addict or an alcoholic. I always had that addictive tendency. I just directed it towards swimming and then school and then perfectionism, things that you wouldn't normally say, that girl's got a problem.
And it only happened when I got so fed up or so humbled by life's circumstances that I surrendered. I stopped trying to come up with solutions and answers. And when I just gave up and really surrendered to life, then I could hear the instructions of life. You know, I couldn't hear what life was telling me over my own thoughts. You know, what should be, what shouldn't have been, what should I do if only this would have happened. I had all of this clutter But when I learned to shut up, right? And when I learned to recognize that a lot of the chatter in my mind and the thoughts weren't mine, most of it isn't mine.
I do think accountability has to be a big thing. I think, just taking the drink away from somebody doesn't necessarily set them up for success in life. And, there has to be a sense of gratitude of going through, coming out the other side of all of that.
If you've enjoyed When I Stop Fighting the podcast, please check out my books and my journals on my website, daryldittmer.com. Enjoy a 15% discount by using the code PODCAST, DARYLDITTMER.com.